and choosing New Document. Now, in the Document Preset dropdown, I'm going to start by choosing the default preset, and we'll go ahead and make sure the preview's turned on so we can see what we're doing. For the number of pages, let's go ahead and set the number to 12, and that will create a 12-page document. We're going to leave Facing Pages turned on, and we'll leave the size set to 8.5 by 11. Now for the number of columns, I'm going to increase the number of columns to 2, and for the margins, I'm going to uncheck the link button and increase the bottom margin to about 5/8 of an inch. Let's go ahead and click OK, and that's going to create a brand new document for us to work on. Now we're going to open up our Pages panel, and feel free to expand this panel so you can see more of the pages that are going to be found inside of your document. We can make adjustments here so we can see more. Now, one thing you're going to notice is that at the very top of the Pages panel, you're going to see two things right now. You're going to see None, and you're going to see A Master. Now, this top section is reserved for the master pages inside of your document. And then the bottom section is reserved for the document pages. The document pages being the pages that make up the overall document. Now you'll notice that in our document pages section down here, every page in this document has the letter A applied to it. And that means that the A master is applied to all of those pages. So let's go ahead and add some content to the master page so we can see how master pages work. I'm going to come up here and double click on A master. And using my type tool, I'm going to come down here to the bottom of the page, and I'm just going to click and drag to draw a text frame between the margins at the bottom of the page. With my cursor inside of that text frame, I'm going to go to the Type menu. I'm going to choose Insert Special Character, Markers, Current Page Number. Now I'm going to zoom in so we can see this a little bit better, but you're going to notice that it inserts the letter A in that text frame. Now you cannot simply type the letter A in this example because this is a unique character. It's essentially a variable that's going to automatically insert the page number in our document. Now I'm going to add a little bit more text here. I'm going to type a space, and then I'm going to type the pipe symbol, which is Shift / on your keyboard, and another space, and then I'm going to type Summer 2013. Now I'm going to press Command Option 0 on my keyboard so that I can fit the spread to my window. If you're on a Windows platform, you can type Control Alt 0. Now I'm going to switch to my selection tool, and I'm going to make a copy of this frame on the right-hand page. Notice we have two pages, and that's because we're working in a facing page document. So we're always going to have a left and a right-hand page. Now I'm going to hold down Shift Option on Mac or Shift Alt on Windows, and I'm going to drag this text frame to the right-hand page. That's going to make a copy, and it's also going to constrain the movement so that both of these frames align to one another. Now I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on the right-hand page, and we're going to make a couple of changes here. Switch to my Type tool. I'm going to highlight this space pipe space, and I'm going to go to Edit and choose Cut, and then I'll put my cursor at the very end and choose Edit Paste. Now I'm going to highlight the letter A, and I'm going to go to Edit Cut, and then I'll put my cursor at the very end here and choose Edit Paste one more time. And you'll notice now that we have a reverse or a mirror image of what we had on the left-hand page. I'm going to go ahead and go to my paragraph formatting and change the alignment to align right. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and change Summer 2013 to the name of our newsletter. I'm going to call mine Great Escapes. Now I'm going to press Command Option 0 on Mac or Control Alt 0 on Windows, and we can now see that we have essentially a footer at the bottom of both of my pages. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my selection tool, and I'll just shift click to select both of these, and I'm just going to nudge these down just a little bit so they're not right up against the margin. That looks pretty good. Now if I go to my Pages panel and I double click on page 1, you're now going to see that the footer appears on the bottom of page 1, but instead of having the letter A, it automatically is using the number 1. If I go to the second page, that'll say 2, third page number 3, fourth page number 4. So you can see the benefit that master pages provide to us. Instead of me having to put this content on every single page manually, it automatically adds the content for me. Now, master pages can be taken to another level. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to insert another page. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the panel menu, and I'm going to choose New Master. This one is going to have the prefix of B. Let's call this one 3 column. I'll go ahead and click OK. And if we want to rename the A master to 2 column, we can double click on that, go to the panel menu, and go to Master Options for A master. We'll change this one to 2 column to make it a little bit easier for me to identify what it's for. Now you can see that we have a 2 column master and a 3 column master. Let's go ahead and double click on the 3 column master, and I'm going to go to Layout, Margins, and Columns, and we'll change the number of columns for this master to 3. When we click OK, we can see that the 3 column master has a 3 column guide setup, and the 2 column master, if I double click on it, has a 2 column setup. Now I do want to point out that if I go back to the 3 column master, I go to the panel menu and choose Master Options for B3 column, we're going to change based on master so that this 3 column master is based on the 2 column version. And when I click OK, you're going to see that now it is utilizing the footer from the 2 column master. Now we got to go back up here to Layout, Margins, and Columns, and we're going to change this back to 3 columns. That way we have a 3 column master that is using the 3 column layout and a 2 column master that's using a 2 column layout. But because I based the B master on A, it is retaining the footer at the bottom of that master page. Now if we go down to, let's say, page 2. Let's say, for example, that page 2 we wanted to have a 3 column layout. So we can just drag the B master on top of page 2, and that is now going to utilize the properties of that master page. Let's go ahead and double click on page 1. Oftentimes on the opener for a chapter, we don't want the master page to have the footer. So for page 1, we can drag the None master and drop it on page 1. And now you can see that that master page has no footer applied. Now in addition, we can actually apply sectioning to our document. One way to go into the numbering and section options is to double click on the triangle at the top of page 1. Double click on that, and you can see that this offers a number of different options that we can change for our numbering and section options. Now what I'm going to do is for the style, I'm going to change the style to use lowercase Roman numerals. And when I click OK, you'll notice that if I go to page 2, that now it's using the Roman numeral numbering, and all of my pages in the Pages panel are using the Roman numeral numbering option. Now I'm going to double click on page 5, because maybe on the 5th page of my document, I want it to actually start numbering using standard numerals. So with page 5 active, I'm going to go to the panel menu, I'm going to go down to Numbering and Section Options, and I'm going to change the style to use the standard numerals. And I'm also going to tell it to start the page numbering of this section at page 1. Go ahead and make sure that we have our style set to regular numerals, and we'll go ahead and click OK. And now, if I double click on page 5, we can see that it starts on numeral 1 and continues numbering to 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. So this particular document actually has 2 sections that are being utilized within this document. And you'll also notice that now, because I started a new section on the 5th page of the document, we have a triangle at the top of that page that is showing us that that is a new section. Now one last thing I want to point out is that if I zoom in on the bottom of, say, page 5, we can see a text frame that is on that master page. And we can tell that that text frame is on the master page because of the dotted frame edge that we see here. You'll also notice that by default I can't click on that text frame because by default objects on the master page are locked. If for some reason I wanted to override that master item, I can hold down the Shift and Command keys on Mac or the Shift and Control keys on Windows, and I can click on that object, and that will override that object from the master page. At this point, I can move this and change it in any way that I wish. I'm going to go ahead and undo that. And in addition, if I change my mind later on and decide that I don't want to override this object, I can go to the panel menu, I can go down to Master Pages, and I can choose Remove Selected Local Overrides. And that's going to return that object back to the master page so that I'm no longer modifying that element. I'm going to go ahead and press Command 0 so I can see the whole page. And as you can see, these features are powerful tools when working in a multi-page document. Making use of these features will help you to create and update documents quickly and easily.